Yo, what's up guys, KCmo here. So I just wanted to show you guys this design I've been using for a while now. A lot of you guys have seen me build this live on stream with Suspect, but basically the idea behind this base is to have something you can easily throw down super quick early into the wipe as a smaller group, solo, duo, or trio. Doesn't require any components to start. It has a single door airlock, roof access, and it's super easy to expand to a main instead of having to build a separate starter base and all that bullshit. And I know you can make this base stronger with double stacked walls, but I don't got time for that shit. I'm playing some of the most competitive servers, and it's super important to claim a spot as soon as possible. If you're building out 20 freaking squares, come back with triangles, makes you an extremely easy target. It's very easy to get left behind if you're getting killed while building your base. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick tour first. If you'd like to skip to the building part, I'll leave a link in the description. So I do build it live with commentary, why I did what I did, and walk you through my creative process. Or you guys can skip to a silent and much faster build that I do in Fortify. If you guys do skip it and watch the Fortify build, I highly recommend you at least watch the tour. There are a couple building parts you're gonna wanna leave twig or wood until later in the stage. And it's a little hard to tell that in Fortify. Enjoy. All right, so this is what you start off with. Temporary twig stairs, single door airlock, can't get in, can't see the TC from here, and this wall is wood on purpose. All right, I got 3 bags, small boxes, probably just have small boxes to start, a couple furnaces. There might be better placement for these items, but all this stuff is gonna go as you upgrade your base, so this is normally just how I place my items. I have the roof and the floor placed like this, so I don't need any components to get up, which is huge when starting out. So we just jump on these furnaces, and then this gives us roof access. And roof access is so important, especially when starting off. Just because of door campers, people do it all the time. You don't want to go outside with your key and that kind of stuff. But even if you did get door camped, you know, they can't get inside. They can't loot anything. They can hit out the bag, a couple bags here, but not really a big deal. Not really too worried about that. All right, so here she is. Looks a little weird, but it is very effective. So just to show you guys the defenses here real quick. Say I'm standing right here, for example. I can be shot from right here, and right there. And if I'm a little bit closer over here, then I can even be shot right there. So there's 3 to 4 places I have to worry about when approaching this base. So if I'm looking over here, you know, it's easy to switch over to there and get gunned down. And not to mention this spot right here too. All right, so let's take a look inside. This leads to where the TC was. It's just walled off. Nothing around to jump on besides the TC, of course. And this here acts as a single door airlock. Got our 3 bags here if you're playing with the trio. Little drop box here to keep your furnaces running. Here, you can put more here if you'd like, but normally just use 3. And these are loot rooms. We've got our stacked TCs here. Beds, 3 beds for a trio. 2 lockers, more than enough. More loot rooms. Flows well, easy to get to the roof. And this is the very top here. Probably wouldn't fight too many people from the very top just because your gun can fall down really easily. Easy to get shot, but you know, also got these here. This is the main battlements area. Lots of ways to shoot down. See all the way around your base from multiple different spots, not just one, which makes it extremely strong. People are gonna have to think twice when approaching this base. We got these here too. Easy to head glitch.
Oh nice, KCmo teaching how to roof camp again.
The hell you expect me to do?
Hey Jimmy, go down to the bottom. They're coming, run outside and kill them all. I did!
I'll give you guys a quick little demo of how this roof works so you can see it in action. All right, let's try just one more and then just let me know if anything else kind of pops out to you. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty hard.
All right, so I'm gonna build this live here for you guys. I'll walk you through my thought process. I built this base in a specific order to simulate your progression during the wipe. I've used this base for almost every week for months now, and I've found that the order that I build this in works best for me, but feel free to adjust it for what suits your needs. Make sure you leave this one wood. It's very important. I like to lock my base up before doing the second story, and of course, right away. All right, so this is what we have. We're gonna place our tool cupboard right here. If you mess it up, it's okay, because we're gonna replace that later, all right? And then now you have a single door airlock. If you guys are unfamiliar with this, you open the door, you can't get through. And that's why I placed my tool cupboard that way, so it doesn't get shot out if someone does go deep. You can't shoot it from right here. So I normally like to leave my key inside while I go out. So it doesn't really matter where you place your items at first, because all this is going to go. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm creating a way to get up on top of my base, because roof access is extremely important when building your base. So if you're getting door camped, it's easy to shoot anyone camping your shit. Now, obviously I won't have an AK, but you would bow them down or something like that. So at this point in the game, I have my key in there. I got a base. I don't like going outside with my key, so that's why I leave it in there. And if I do need to get back inside my base, once I get enough for a furnace, then I'm just going to build myself in. And of course, you have to be very careful. It does leave yourself very vulnerable, so just keep that in mind when doing this. So once I have enough for a furnace, just build something like this and immediately shoot this out. That way no one comes in. So now we have enough for a furnace, and we're gonna place our furnace. And if you have wood, extra wood or stone, just use whatever you got at this point. It just makes it a little easier to kind of see around your base and shoot down if you need to. So at this point, there's not going to be a whole lot of space for bags, but I'll show you where to place them. And then obviously once we get more room, we'll move these to a different spot. And then normally we'll have a sleeping bag up here, whoever draws the short straw. If you need the extra space, you could upgrade this to wood. This does make it a little easier to jump up to, and then just flame it out later. You can place extra bags up here if you need to. And then this also opens up more room for extra boxes and whatnot. If you need it. Normally, by the time we have this much loot, we're able to upgrade our base further than this, but for emergencies, it's there. All right, so now we're ready to upgrade our door. We have our door and our code lock. Just make sure if you're playing with multiple people, you have someone waiting outside, looking around, making sure that there's no one trying to sneak up on you when you're about to switch to your door, and have everything you need in your hotbar ready to go. And as quickly as you can, swap your door, make sure it opens inwards. And there we go. All right, so we have our furnaces running. So this is the point where you have enough time to go out and farm a bit, get a bit of stone, get some wood, and now we can upgrade our base a little bit further. I'm gonna put a ladder hatch right here and a ladder hatch right here. At this point, just upgrade with whatever you have. You have wood, that's fine. You have stone, that's better. Just get something down and use it as coverage. So the way that I remember how to place these floors. So going from the right to the left, triangle, triangle, square, triangle, triangle, square, triangle, triangle, square, triangle, triangle, square. The ladder hatches go in front of the door, and then it's just opposite for the other one, okay? So the next thing we do is place walls. From all twig first, use this as cover, even if it's twig. Normally at this point, we just upgrade it to wood because we won't have enough stone. We want to get these walls up as quickly as possible. Okay, now it's time for our loot rooms. I'm going to put our first loot room right here. If you have the stone, I would recommend stoning up your loot room first. And however many boxes you have at this point, place your shelf as far back as possible, and I'll show you why shortly. Doorway on there, and if you have a sheet metal door, it's better, but lots of times you might only have a wooden door at this point. We'll just put a wooden door on for now because that's more likely what we would have at this point in the game. All right, so now we have this. You can put stairs right here if you need roof access. Stability won't be too good yet because of that overhang right there, but if you place your twig in this order, you should be able to build just fine. And just so we have a little catwalk here so we can, you know, look over the edge if we need to. Normally what we do with these little holes here is we'll place walls and leave them as twig. You can upgrade them to wood if you'd like to. It only takes a little bit more than a single hatchet to take down a wooden wall, but I normally leave it as twig. If you're worried about someone boosting into your base, just go ahead and wood it up. That's never happened to me, and I play on some of the most competitive servers in the game. But it's up to you. If you're worried about it, just go ahead and wood it up. I'm gonna leave it as twig, because that's what we normally do. So this is what we have so far. Normally this early in the wipe, you don't have to worry about someone foundation wiping your base, but if you are worried, just go ahead and upgrade these next. And now it's quite a bit harder to do so. So our next step is going to be creating another way to get up that doesn't require us to hopscotch up our base. So we're gonna close this off using wood or stone, whatever you have at this point in the game. And that is where this comes in. So go ahead and take this door off. You no longer need this here. Place it right there. And we're going to hatchet this out. And of course have a door and code lock ready. Right? So now this creates the same sort of thing that we started with. Some twig stairs here. So as you can see, that creates a little airlock for us. A single door airlock for us, and I'll show you why that's important here in a sec. And at this point in the game, we should have enough for a ladder hatch. And it's up to you. If you have enough materials to build a box to jump on, a large box, then go ahead and do that. That's what I prefer. But if you don't have enough materials this early in the game, then just go ahead and use a small. All right, so now we can get rid of this stuff. So now we can seal this so we don't have a hole in the middle of our floor. And of course, metal is better for roofs or for floors, but at this point in the game, we don't have very much metal. We're going to be wanting to use our metal on sheet metal doors, on boxes, on guns, and other stuff like that. So you can leave these here if you'd like to. Normally at this point, we have enough materials to start making new furnaces that we can place upstairs. So that's when I hatch these out. And we can start moving these up where the loot actually is. Best spot for bags is going to be in the middle, so nothing is going to be placed in the middle. And you can choose which side to place your furnaces on. I'm going to place it on this side because we already have our loot room built right there. And we'll just start with 3. It's normally enough for 3 people. It just depends on how much resources you guys are farming and how much ore you guys need to be putting out. So go ahead and seal that up. All right. Making some good progress here. One thing I would like to point out is that yes, this wall is backwards, although it doesn't really make that big of a difference because a raider gaining access into this room doesn't get him closer to our tool cupboard. It actually gets him further away. So if you would really like to, you could sheet metal this once you have the materials and flip it. That way it's harder for them to do so. All right, so let's see what we have on the outside here. So we still have an open spot right here. We're going to leave that for now. What we do want to do is protect our tool cupboard. Our tool cupboard is right here. We know that because it's a square foundation, so we're going to protect this first before anything. We're going to surround our square with triangles. And now it's going to be a 2-wall raid, meaning it takes 2 walls to get to the TC in every direction, except for right here. Right? So at this point, it's probably going to be a good idea to stack our tool cupboards. If you're unfamiliar with what that means, I'll show you real quick. So tool cupboards cover a lot more from the top compared to the bottom. So if I place a tool cupboard here, I cannot place a tool cupboard here, but if you place it here first and here second, now we have 2 tool cupboards. And this is called TC stacking, or tool cupboard stacking. So what this means is if I have access to the bottom one, and not the top, I only can build so far. And I'll show you what I mean here. I can't build any further than this. So in order to build up all the way, they're going to have access to both TCs. So the reason I placed the boxes back quite a bit was because I'm going to place my extra TC right here, and it's going to go right about there. So first we have to destroy our TC down here, and if you're playing with more than one person, I do recommend having one person down here ready to go, while the other person is also upstairs ready to go. So we're going to destroy this. And this is going to lock you in. So if you're solo, you're going to need to quickly spawn in your bag, loot the extra TC, and place your new TC like so. And just simply box that in. That's going to save you the materials, so you have to build an extra armored door. So we have our new furnaces burning. Hopefully we have enough for some more boxes at this point. We're going to make our new loot room right here. Make sure you stone those up first. Now this one I can place a little bit further out, makes it a little easier to access. And once you have the door, go ahead and place another sheet metal door on here. Once you have the metal, of course. All right, so now we need to protect this spot right here. We don't want anyone to boost in. So let's go ahead and do that. Our door is going to go right there. Another doorway right there for our single door airlock. And there we go. Normally we won't have a ladder hatch quite yet, another ladder hatch, but this at least protects that spot from people boosting in. So we have a pretty secure base at this point. Not too worried about these overhangs quite yet. If you have the extra stone, just go ahead and seal those up, but just depends on where you guys are at in the game at this point. So before stoning these up on these sides, I do recommend upgrading this part to make your base a 3-wall raid. Now it's up to you if you would like to honeycomb this spot right here or not. I normally don't, because if the raider gains access to right here using rockets, they don't get anything special getting to this door right here. It actually leads them further away from the tool cupboard than closer. So there's really no benefit to having an extra wall there. So I'm just going to go ahead and seal that. And next, go ahead and seal this. Bam. All right, so the base is looking pretty good. 3 walls to the center from any direction. Pretty solid. You should be able to get this down within just a couple hours into the wipe if you're playing with 3 people. All right, and then don't forget this spot too right here. This does need to be honeycombed because your TC is right here. So make sure you do add a wall right here. All right, so by now you should have enough for a ladder hatch. Another ladder hatch, a second ladder hatch. Make sure you place it in that direction. And then your choice, however you wish to get up. I prefer large boxes, even though it costs 50 metal, but it does make it a lot easier to move around. Now, real quick, I'm going to explain the reasoning behind this airlock. So originally, we used to add an extra airlock on the top right here, which does make the base a little bit stronger. It's like this, I'll show you. This does make the base a little stronger, but it does hurt your mobility. It makes it a little harder to move around. It does make it a little bit more cramped. So I achieved the same goal with this, because if the ladder hatch was left open, that's why we had the airlock up there. So if the ladder hatch was left open, then they wouldn't be able to get through because there's an airlock right here. Same thing with this. If the ladder hatch was left open on accident, they can't get in because of the single door airlock. And just to be clear, it still is possible to boost up. This does make your base a little bit stronger, but I prefer mobility over defense on offline raids. Now, this is my personal preference. If you prefer to have a base that's stronger while you're offline, then you can do this. But it does make it harder to defend an online raid. Personal preference. I'm going to take this out because that's how we normally do it. Now, at this point, we should have enough stone to start stoning up all the rest of our wood. So let's go ahead and do that. And we should have enough for a ladder. And this is going to be our primary way of getting up. And this will be our second loot room floor. Now, still at this point, you probably won't have enough metal to sheet metal all of your floors, so I normally just use stone for now. Later, once we have an abundance of metal, we'll upgrade our ceilings to metal, but for now, we'll just use stone. Okay, so we have 2 loot rooms by now. We're probably going to need to start getting some more loot rooms, running low on storage space, getting a lot of components and whatnot. So let's go ahead and add more loot rooms. First, wall yourself in. You don't want anyone to know where your loot rooms are. And you can use stone or wood, whatever you have at this point. Although I do recommend stoning up whatever side your loot room is going to be first before the rest of it, if you're low on materials. So you put a doorway here. This protects from fly hackers or jump hackers or whatever you want to call them. You can place the doorway in whichever direction you'd like to. I normally place it this way at first to start. It does make it easier to raid from the bottom up, but it does make it harder to raid from the top down. So it's just personal preference. Whichever way that you normally get raided will determine the direction of your doorway. If you have the sheet metal, you could just sheet metal that, and that does make it quite a bit stronger since it is harder to pickaxe through sheet metal. So we have loot rooms. I'm going to sheet metal it just so you guys know where they are. We have loot rooms right here and right here. So we need to stagger our loot rooms to make it as hard as possible to raid. I'm going to face my loot room in this direction. The reason why is because there's not really much I can place right here, but this does leave a huge open spot over here. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. All right, so now I have plenty of room to place whatever I like, and I'm gonna place the door this way as well because I like things to be symmetrical. But you could place the door the other way if you'd like. All right, so we have all the space. Now what can we do with this space? Well, if it were me, I would start getting some beds down. So with beds, you can spawn a lot faster and could save yourself in many situations. There we go. And that bed doesn't hurt mobility at all. Easy to move around in. Lockers are nice to have if you're in a pinch. It's like fighting multiple people, even though you only have 3. If you're able to gear back up and get back in the fight. So remember at all times, if you need roof access, easy twig stairs, I would recommend at least twigging this up just so you can walk around your roof early in the game. But when you have the materials, just go ahead and upgrade that. And I prefer ladder hatch at this point. The reason why is if you use a ladder, how we have right here, it does leave a hole. And this is going to be our main roof defenses up here. And it would be a pain to have to jump over a hole when you're getting raided. So I like to use ladder hatch. Make sure you place your ladder hatch in a direction that's easy to access. You want it to flow. Just like that. So this is our roof. There's a few different options that we can do with our roof. I'll go over a few different things that I like to do. This is going to be more of a freestyle, whatever you guys prefer. It really depends on your surroundings, what kind of terrain is around you, what kind of bases are around you, and what your objectives are from taking down the heli, if you want to be able to defend a raid really easily, and so on. All right, so there's a lot of different things you could do with the roof. You know, as long as you have some way to shoot down something like this, that's really all you need. Doesn't have to be super fancy or anything, but the sky's the limit. So this is just one example of what you can do. It works pretty well for me, so I'm going to show you what I did to build it. And this is how you place it without falling down. And then you just shoot those out, of course. All right, so we got this now. Now it's time to connect these. Okay, so now we have this. So this is fine, but this doesn't let us shoot super close to the base in a lot of areas. So we're gonna add these as well. And then from here out, you can do windows or doors or whatever you prefer. I like to do double doors for this. You can do single doors too. And then I just use walls right here. You can use these as cover. And keep in mind, you can use these kind of as little windows too, like this. If you're shooting though, I'd maybe stand back over here from long distances. That way your gun doesn't fall out. I like the doors to open inwards, just so it's easier to see around corners, where if it's outwards, it's a little harder to see like this. But if you like that more, just for the extra cover, you could do that too. And then you got to choose a side for the ladder. I'm going to put my ladder right here just because our ladder hatch opens this way. This is just the way I chose to get up. You could use a ladder hatch if you'd like. I'm always so low on gears though, so I like to save them for armored doors on my base. Put a door in this one. So for those little shoot down things, you're gonna need to add a little stability for this because there's not a whole lot holding that up right there, so. Upgrade these to sheet metal so you can see it down a little easier. And yeah, that's about it. Alright, so here's a quicker guide. This one is good for you guys if you've already seen the video, if you're just coming back to actually build the base. But I have it on ×2 speed. If you need to slow it down, you can do that in the YouTube settings. You guys, so just real quick, I'm gonna do a follow-up video on this. Just about every base video I make, I forget about something or leave something out. Like my last one, everyone thought the base I was trying to show was the 2x2, even though I clearly said I just built that to show you guys how it works on a smaller scale. A lot of people thought they could foundation wipe it just because it's a 2x2, but even in my demos, I don't forget stupid shit like that. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them below so I can address them in the next video.